Okay, just a super short little thing. Really cool. And I love this kind of stuff. And I'll admit, I love this not just because it makes my life better, but when I show this kind of thing to people I'm working with, or more often students in class, they eat it up because it is so cool. And I got this just a little bit ago. I learned this just a little bit ago from the great Sean Wildermuth, who has been a part of the .NET community, kind of one of these angels of the .NET community as long as I can remember. I will put a link to the video where I picked this up. I really highly recommend if you're a .NET developer, you subscribe to his channel and follow what he does. It's always cool stuff. This little tip actually comes from a video he's doing on .NET Aspire, which is something I've kind of reluctantly looked at and I'm getting a little bit more enthusiastic about. And uh, like so many things, it's because of people in the community kind of talking about it, and Sean's one of those people. But anyhow, what I have is just a little sample here of an application where I have a little C# console application with the name My Cool Program, and then there's a class library, Super Cool Utils library, and in that Super Cool Utils library, I have just a static class called Utils, the junk drawer of object-oriented programming with a method that called format name. You give it a first name, last name, it returns the formatted name and the length of that formatted name in a tuple type. And back on the program.cs, I want to use that here. So I start this up. I ask the user what their first name is, what their last name is, store those in some variables, make sure they didn't leave them empty or whatever. And I want to call that little function here and get those results back. Right now, no matter what you enter, it's going to say you're Cassavetes John, the great John Cassavetes, and your name's length is 16. And I write out a welcome method with some encouraging, hopefully, stars underneath their name. So if I run this as it is right now, a little control F5 asks me my name. I'm Jeff Gonzalez, and it says welcome Cassavetes John, but I want it to actually do Gonzalez/Jeff. And of course, as a .NET developer, I'm going to have to set a project reference from my application that wants to use that functionality. In other words, when I go to replace this, if I say utils dot format name, we know something's up. Get the red squigglies. It can't find that thing. And I think it's first name, last name. It can't see that type. It doesn't know about that thing. It's not going to help to add the namespace it's declared in. So namespace super utils library, if I said, oh, just using super utils library, this project doesn't have any notion of what that thing is, even though they live in basically the same apartment building. We have to tell the compiler to use the types defined in this library. So, you can do things like if you code it ahead like this, a lot of times you can hit the little control period and it gives you some options and you can dig through here and, oh, there's add a reference to super utils library. So it'll add a reference. Another way to do it, of course, is the old school way, which is you just right click on dependencies. And since these are in the same solution, I could do a project reference, hit that little thing and okay. And now it can find super utils library and all that stuff. What I learned from Sean's video is if I remove that reference, so I'm just going to say from my cool program, it doesn't know about that anymore, back to where I was before. A nice piece of intuitive, but not quite discoverable unless you see somebody cool like Sean doing it. UI here is if I want my cool program to use or have a reference to this, I can just take it and drag and drop it. And you can see the side effect of that is it actually sets a reference. So we get the same thing. So if I run this again, little control F5, move my UI over here, and I say Jeff Gonzalez, you can see it's using my little functionality and it's in a class library. So later on, if I say we want to maybe be a little less formal, we'll make this first name and get rid of the comma, last name, run it again. Jeffrey Gonzalez. Our code is there. So I just thought that was cool and I would share it.